Hello, this is Tanmay, and today in this video, I'll be telling you about how, how we can overview a basic custom template and what actually they are, and how they are helpful when we talk in terms about of security, and how can we use the editor and also the sandbox JavaScript that GTM provides us. So for a quick overview of the custom templates, so basically it's being used to build our own API tool, and what we can do using the custom template is uh, we can kind of like create a UI for all the scripts. So whatever scripts we are trying to write onto our for our purpose, the for that reason we can create a UI, a user interface for that. And if you talk about custom templates, then there are steps written here that you can follow and build your own custom template here. Moreover, the most favorite functionality that custom template is giving us, that we can write certain piece of codes, certain piece of script, and we can also integrate it into the UI. And since it is in JavaScript that is within the GTM, so there is no need to bother much about the implementation of content policy securities, because everything is everything is being integrated in the GTM, and there is no space for any kind of errors. So all the typo mistakes, all the errors, and all the error handlings are done very accurately and precisely, and one does not need to focus much on that. So this is kind of the overview of custom template, and if you want to create it, I'll just show you the steps in some time. There are other options here that you can explore on this website. So the most good thing about the custom template is that all your scripts that you are going to write onto your GTM, what you can do, you can either import certain scripts from somebody else, and you can even export your template. You can create a library for that purpose. That means onto the GTM community, you can share your custom template and people can start using your own custom template, and that we call as community template gallery. And for if we talk about the model that is being implemented in custom template, then it is we can use the permission model that prevents harmful code running in the background. And moreover, the templates that are available in GTM are very much safe, and they can be used straight away without even the needs to check the code, or to go for any other background checks. And moreover, the GTM has stopped entirely the global access. So any kind of global API or an external API cannot do anything here. You can only use the GTM API for creating the custom template here. And using a custom template, you can create everything that you feel like. You can create a tag, a trigger, and can create some options, fields. I'll show you them. So in your GTM dashboard, if you navigate towards the template section here, so you'll see that I've already used a variable template here. And if you want to create a tag template, then you can select this. So if I search gallery here, and there are a bunch of options that are available to me. So you can see there are 100 shoppers, where to buy widget script, to be cookie, and a lot of them are being here, like add glare by add tag. You can just use them. And for the variable templates, I can search my gallery for all these things. And there are a search variable also applied that you can use here. So There are a lot of templates that are available here. And if I show you the template that I am currently using, so this is basically the template editor that you will be using into onto your GTM for making the custom templates or editing a certain template. First of all the custom templates are ready to use, and they are just simply plug and play, and you don't need to actually perform any kind of modification there. But still, if it is the case for you, then you can explore all these options here. So first one is info. So let's talk about it. So this is the name of the variable configuration that we have created. I have named it URL. Initially, by default, it was URL 2.0, and we can name it as per our own choice. And then there's a description of the same template for us to refer in future. We can just give this thing here, and there's an also a checkbox here. It says uh, it says that you'll have to agree to community template gallery terms of service. So it's kind of like a permission granted by Google to use this template in the GTM, and also to safeguard all the people in GTM community template gallery. So this is about the option. And then if I talk about all the other options here, then there is an option of information, and that template status is linked. That means I'm using this template currently, and version is also mentioned here. Also, if I show you the permissions, then the permissions are here. You can edit these right now. Logs to console is logs to the developer console and tag managers preview mode, and reads URL. Any kind of URL can be read using this API, and reads referrer URL any. So there is no restriction onto that, and we can just go ahead and modify these if we want actually. So basically what I'm trying to show here is that all these permissions are already added, and you don't need to make any changes in the first place. And then for variable type, you can just move on to selecting the build type. Then that is build custom URL string, retrieve key from query string. Now I am using the variable for URL, so that's why these options are here. Retrieve key from fragment. And then if I since I'm making this for URL parts, I can also specify that what all paths or what all parts of the URL I need to track. So I have selected query string, path, hostname and protocol. In my case, port, extension and fragment are not useful, so I have unchecked those, and you can do the same pretty much. Then there are some advanced settings. So URL source. Now there can be two URLs as per my use case. Then one is the page URL that you can see on the top, and one is the referrer URL that's basically from where the traffic is actually coming. So uh, you can just toggle between these two. And if I show you further options of fields, then there are a lot of fields here, and these are expandable and collapsible. So there is a key value pair combination that's going on here. And first item is build custom URL string is build URL, and you can edit it if it is the case. And retrieve key from key query string, then there's a query key that we are passing that is fetching a particular value from the URL. And retrieve key from fragment of the URL. Then there is also an option here to add another menu item. That means you can add your own key value pair, and that will also be integrated in this custom template. Also, the display name variable type is there. Then if we talk about other options, we'll just collab it. Then there is URL parts. So there can be uh, specifications according to your needs for the URL. And then there is protocol that can be HTTP or HTTPS, and default value is true. That means okay, it will just run. Then there is host name. You can just specify this extension, fragment. All these things are there, and the advanced settings are also there. If you want, I mean, to make any changes, then that means The group style here is collapsible section collapsed, and we can toggle between all these four. It can be simple section and other options that are available to us. And also the URL source is also here. You can just add on the value here. Now these are nothing but the variables of the GTM. So you'll have to pass on the accurate name of the variable so that the values get reflected properly. So this was it about fields. Now we move on to the code part. Now this is something very useful when we talk about the functionality customization. So basically, whatever template you are going to extract, first of all, you don't need to make any change to the code section, because in most of the cases, this code is being verified, and also it is as per the need of the user, and there is nothing much to be done here. But still, if it is the case, then you can just move ahead and just try out or experiment with a lot of things that can be helpful to you. So all this code is very optimized, and you don't need to think more optimally, and all these functions are pre-written, and these are according to the sandbox JavaScript that uh, that is one of the flavors that is being allowed by GTM, and we know only GTM API can be used. There are a lot of functions also here that differ from the normal JavaScript version and the sandbox version. So like if we talk about if you want to get the current URL, then the function in JavaScript is document.location, but in the GTM it's not the same, it's different. It gets URL and then it gets the current URL. So that's why I'll suggest not to make any changes, but if it is the case, you can just try always try to experiment these. Then there is the permission section. Now, as mentioned previously, I have set any kind of referral URL can be read using this template, but I can always check to be specific. If I do so, then only a specific referral URL will be read by this custom template and not all. So you can customize it and reads URL any specific. Now this is one of the biggest reason that all the external API access is not granted, that you can no external API can actually access uh, the variables or the permissions using this, because they can make changes to all these permissions and it can be a security breach. So that's why GTM uses its own API, that is the GTM API, and not any other external API. And you'll have to do the same while making things or building things. Then we talk about tests. Now there can be certain tests that you want to set up here. This is a small piece of code that is basically to test out certain features of the custom template, that whether it's working fine or whether it's optimized or not. So you can write certain pieces of test, and then simply the run test button can be it. So that's it about custom templates. Now, if I just show you this section of the documentation, then this is also very useful. This is sandbox JavaScript. Now, there are a bunch of differences between the normal JavaScript flavors and this flavor of the JavaScript. This is kind of like a restricted version of the JavaScript, and you'll have to keep in mind that there can be differences when we write code for our functionality. So that's it about custom template introduction, and see you in the next video.